Hey internet world, this is your favorite entrepreneur, Jorge Georgetown, is coming at you guys live. Just super excited for another day. How many people are just grateful to be alive, grateful to have another opportunity to impact some people's lives, just go out there and make a difference, change our lives, make things a lot better, So I'm just super excited, attitude of gratitude, thank God it's Wednesday, another incredible day. Today's word is going to be on entrepreneurship. I say that I am your favorite entrepreneur. So I'm going to give you a definition of what, Google says entrepreneurship is, what my mentor told me entrepreneurship is, some of the skills sets that you may need if you want to become an entrepreneur, maybe some of the entrepreneurship attributes, right? But more specifically, how you too can become an entrepreneur, as we are currently in an age where a lot of individuals, are leaving that 9 to 5 and are taking ownership of their actions and starting their own businesses. So let's get right into it, right? So again, what is an entrepreneur? So according to Google, and the definition is individual that operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal risk. Wow, right? So an individual that operates a business or businesses taking on greater than their normal risk. So somebody that's not afraid to take risk, right? Somebody that's going to take greater amount of risk, right? So that's an entrepreneur. How many people are just afraid to take risk, right? How many people are just afraid to take a chance because you don't know what's going to happen, right? Yeah, me too. I was the same way. I didn't want to take any risk because I was afraid to fail. I was afraid to get it wrong. I was afraid that I was going to be judged. I was afraid that I was going to get called names. I was afraid that everything was going to go bad. But I also knew one thing, that I needed to take that risk. At the time I didn't know, but failure and success for an entrepreneur are the same coin. It's just a different side, right? We need to fail our way to success. So in order to do that, we need to take greater, bigger risk. I also looked up entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the capacity and willingness to develop, organize, and manage a business venture along with any of its risks. Again, risk. Again, how many people don't want to take any risk? And that's the reason why a lot of individuals stay, right, working the 9 to 5, stay doing something that they don't want to do, stay, stuck in the rat race. Because when we're talking about risk, when we're talking about taking a chance, when we're talking, a lot of us, right? And I was guilty of this. A lot of us, are afraid to take that risk, to just take that chance, take that leap of faith and go out there and get it done, right? Then I asked, what are some of the attributes, that an entrepreneur must have? So if you're looking at becoming an entrepreneur, first and foremost, you must accept that you're about to take a risk. But let me tell you something, it's gonna be worth it. It's definitely gonna be worth it. So one, you gotta accept that you're gonna take a risk. So what are some of the attributes that you gotta have? You gotta be self-motivated. You gotta be able to motivate yourself. Like, who motivates the motivator, right? He gotta motivate himself. Who inspires, right? He gotta inspire himself. The best part about entrepreneurship nowadays is that there's a lot of mentors out there, and mentorship is available once you choose, what industry you are. But again, you gotta be self-motivated, because there's no bosses, there's no supervisors, there's nobody out there that's gonna be telling you what needs to be done, when it needs to take place, and what deadlines you may have, right? So again, you gotta be self-motivated. Another thing is understanding what you offer. A lot of times we as an entrepreneurs, we get into a business, we get a business venture, not truly understanding the product or the service that we're offering and how it can bring value to other individuals. So we also got to understand that what we offer, whether it's a product or whether it's a service, and how it brings value to other people's lives, right? Here it is again. Take risk. Willingness to take risk is number 3 on the list, right? They have to know how to network. They have to go out there and meet and get to know some people. See, a lot of problem with all of us, if we look around the 5 people we surround ourselves with, those are the 5 people that are going to determine who we are. So let me ask you a question. Are the 5 people you associate yourself with, are they inspiring you? Are they elevating you? Are they making you a better individual? Because then you have an intimate circle. But if they're just keeping you down, negative and everything, then you're in a cage, right? Nipsey Hussle said it best. That's correct. So one of the things that we got to understand is we got to go know how to network. Go out there, make new friends. Go out there, meet new people. Go out there and just network with other like-minded individuals so that we can create collective collaborations to create change in our communities, which is extremely important. You know, you also got to have basic money management skills and knowledge. I mean, think about this. As an entrepreneur, you're responsible for your own money. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, you're waiting on a commission check. You're waiting on check. And as we know, a lot of people, how many people are just afraid to work on commission? They're like, oh my God, I'm commission. Oh my God. Well, the reason why you're afraid to work on commission, very direct, is because you're afraid to perform at your high level. See, once you understand that a commissionable payment is based on your own performance, man, you will love commission checks. Because wait a minute. There's no limit on how much I can make? Nope. There's no limit on how many times I can get paid? Nope. All I gotta do is go out there and give it my best. You get paid based on performance. You get paid based on your knowledge. You get paid based on who you are as an entrepreneur. And a lot of individuals, they do not want commissions because they don't feel that they have what it takes to go to the next level. They don't feel that they have what it takes to create their own check. They don't feel that they have what it takes to manage their money properly. But I know you do. You know, another thing is flexibility. You got to be able to be flexible. You got to be flexible. You got to be able to move things around. You know, you got to be able to have the necessary skills that are needed to juggle more than one thing at the same time. You know, is it easy? Nope. Is it worth it? Yes. So I'm just excited about that. And ultimately, and this should, even though it's last, it should have been first, you know, it's passion. You got to be passionate about what you're doing. Remember, if you're doing something that you don't like, that's called stress. If you're doing something that you love, that's called passion. So again, guys, passion is what's available, you know. So another things, you know, what are some of the skills, you know, or some of the attributes, again, that an entrepreneur must have? So that was one set of list, right? Here's another list that I found. Ready? They have to be curious. So you got to be curious. You got to want to know what else is out there. You know, this guy, for example, he's been so curious that I took a year off just to research the market. I joined several independent marketing organizations, you know, just to see what they offer. You know, yeah, I came out of pocket. Yeah, I invested some time. Yeah, I gave them a couple of days, you know, a couple of months, you know, but I wanted to learn and understand. I was curious if I was not only in the right market, but in the right company. So I went out there and I looked, I studied. And my curiosity, they say curiosity killed the cat, right? But pleasure brought him back, correct? How many people would agree with that, right? And it is a pleasure to be doing business for myself, you know. It is a pleasure to be helping other individuals. And it is a pleasure to be surrounded with individuals that are providing me with mentorship, individuals that want to see me do better, that want to see me grow, you know. So again, curiosity, guys, curiosity. Stay curious. You know, you also got to have time management. You know, a good entrepreneur is able to manage his or her time because he needs to make appointments. He needs to meet certain deadlines. He needs to make sure that he's holding his time accountable. We all have 24 hours in a day. That's all we get is 24 hours in a day, right? After you sleep 8 hours, which some people sleep, right? You have 16 hours left in that day. What are you doing for those 16 hours? Or what are you doing for those 20 hours if you're only sleeping 4? That's what this guy, he only sleep 4 hours, right? So what is it that you're doing? So again, is you got to have time management skills so that you can get more things done. And you got to learn how to compress time. You know, strategic thinking. You got to be able to do some critical thinking. You know, you got to be able to solve some problems. You got to be able to, man, you know, get this nugget working, right? Not rely on somebody else to do it, but you got to figure it out. You got to figure out. How many people know like they know they can figure things out? How many people know like they know that they can solve some problems? And that's what that's about, right? You got to be efficient. You know, it's extremely important that you're efficient. And no matter what you're doing, that you're efficient, that you're doing it to its best. You know, you got to be resilient. Resiliency is just your ability to get back up and do it all over again. No matter what has happened, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to be resilient. You cannot be afraid to fail. You cannot be afraid to lose. You cannot be afraid to be wrong. And if you do fail, if you do lose, and if you are wrong, you gotta have the resiliency to get back up and do it again. Do it again. That's the best thing about being an entrepreneur, that you're failing, you way to success, and as long as you fail forward, I promise you that you're gonna win. So also communication. You gotta be able to properly communicate, not just with other individuals, not just with other companies, but with everybody that surrounds you. You got to be able to properly communicate and articulate your message, articulate your goals, articulate your vision of where you're going. That's extremely, extremely important. Motivation, you got to be motivated. Again, you got to be self-motivated. You got to have the motivation that it needs to go to the next level. And then you got to have an understanding of finance. So those are some of the things that Google talks about as an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship. You know what my mentor said? I love mentorship, because before I even knew or looked up entrepreneur on Google or the definition, my mentor said, an entrepreneur is someone who solves a problem and gets paid handsomely in the process. Ooh. An entrepreneur is someone who solves a problem and gets paid handsomely in the process. Well, look at, you got to take a lot of risks, right? You got to have all the skill sets, so you better be rewarded, right? Remember question number 3, is it worth my time? So what are some of the problems that I'm solving since I'm an entrepreneur? Right, I identify myself as your favorite entrepreneur. I identify myself, as an entrepreneur. So what are some of the problems that we are solving? So 98% of people right now that have a life insurance policy, no living benefits. So if you have a life insurance policy, we need to have a conversation. 312-763-1132. Again, it's 312-763-1132, because 98% of people do not have living benefits. That's a huge problem. There's 255 million people in the nation that are currently paying a monthly premium, do not qualify for income replacement, do not qualify for monies in case they get sick, do not qualify for monies just in case something happens. Right, that means they can only access their money when they die. That's the old policy, right? Second problem that we're facing in the nation, 65% of families filed for bankruptcy due to medical bills. 65% of people filing for bankruptcy. That's a huge problem that can be avoided by having and providing someone with income replacement or monies available in case they get sick. Heart attack, stroke, cancer. These are diseases that are wiping family out and causing individuals to file for bankruptcy. It's not cheap to get sick, right? It's not. We got to come out of pocket. But if we can help families, wouldn't it make sense? How many people would agree that they would like to help a family, not file for bankruptcy? That's extremely important. The last problem that we're facing as a nation is 75% of people have no retirement plan whatsoever. 75% of people. Wow. That's a huge problem, because if we look at the fast food restaurants right now, a lot of people that should have been retired are now working in a fast food restaurant. I don't know about you, but 15 years ago when I went to a McDonald's, there was teenagers that's working. Fast forward 15 years now, I go to a McDonald's, there's senior citizens that are working. It's like, wait a minute, what happened here? Again, 75% of people have no retirement plan, and 90% of the people currently retired, those seniors that are working at McDonald's, are afraid they're gonna run out of money. So to me, an entrepreneur is somebody who solves problems and gets paid handsomely in the process. Wouldn't you agree that it's important to solve these issues and these problems that are facing our nation? Again, 98% of people, no living benefits, right? Wouldn't you like, how many people would like to be part of solving that problem and help people have living benefits, right? 2 hands, right? The next problem is 65% of people file for bankruptcy due to medical bills. How many people would like to help a family and give them the tools and information they need so they do not file for bankruptcy? Instead, they have monies coming in to take care of all their expenses. That's a good solution. How many people would like to help people? That's great. So the next thing is 75% of people with no retirement plan. How many people know somebody that has no retirement plan? Two hands if that's you, right? So if you know at least 5 people in your immediate circle that do not have a retirement plan, wouldn't it make sense to help them? Because let's keep it real, and I'll close with this. If you plan to have a 6-figure income lifestyle between the ages of 65 and 85, you need to be able to generate at least $2 million or have $2 million in place. If you want to make $50,000 a year for 20 years, you at least got to have $1 million, right, in your bank account, or a strategic plan in place that's going to allow you to access this money, right? So again, this is your favorite entrepreneur, Jorge George, and it's coming at you guys live. And give me a call, 312-763-1132. That's 312-763-1132. If you would like to become an entrepreneur, or if you would like to help solve some of these problems. Again, deuces to excuses. This is your favorite entrepreneur, Jorge George Hernandez.